What's up, you guys? It's the Authentic Empress. So, as you can see in the caption, so there's something about you guys um, being seen as the it girl or the it guy, um, and it's undeniable. It's something about you that's just undeniable, and it's effortless. Okay, it's giving that you guys tend to trigger people who invest a lot of time, energy, and effort. Okay, and being seen as the it girl, the it guy, him, her, okay. But there's just something about the makings of who you are where you are just that. You're just that. Okay, this is with and without certain skills and abilities. This is, yes, probably has a lot to do with your appearance, but it goes beyond your appearance. It's definitely this energy of like, yeah, even if you are somebody who's physically attractive and, people make it obvious that you're physically attractive, you're not the type of person who only defines yourself by your physical appearance, right? Whereas you could have triggered people who they lead with their appearance, for example. There can even be this energy of you guys experiencing growing up. Like, how in schools, there's always these popular cliques, right? So there could be this energy of you being popular without even trying, like by being yourself, by not conforming, and maybe even having like little secret beef or even open beef with people who were like the known popular people or the known popular kids, right? So there's this energy of you not being affected and controlled by what a lot of people allow themselves to be controlled by or manipulated by, okay, especially when it comes to status climbing, when it comes to being seen as likable or liked, okay, or people wanting you to be a part of things, okay. You can even be the type of energy where people will want you to be a part of things, but you don't really care to be a part of those things that they want you to be a part of, okay. So it's giving that you got like family, friends who, felt triggered by that very thing, because they care so much about the things that they put on the pedestal, the things that they care so much about, okay, the things that they modify themselves to fit, okay, to like this even be like, for example, like different trends and stuff that come out. You're not so quick to jump on the trend. You're more so somebody to create your own trend. Do what you want to do what you like to do, not do something just because it's known to do that thing, or if you're a part of something particular, it's known to do that thing, right? So for example, like when I was in aka sorority, right? Any sorority or fraternity, right, that you're in, they're going to expect you. All right, we're not going to do this. All right, goodbye. Anyway, so most sororities and fraternities, they expect you to wear wear the colors of your fraternity or sorority, right? Represent, right? And they kind of want you to represent damn near most of the time, okay? And I know when I joined, there was this energy of some of my line sisters assuming that I'm supposed to just toss out my own individual style just to wear pink and green. You know what I'm saying? Just to color coordinate with them. And it's like, no, I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. I don't care what you think about it, how y'all feel about it. They ain't got nothing to do with me. But this could be the type of attitude that you guys kind of just have. You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, like people people envy that. People envy that. And again, it has a lot to do with your authenticity, right? Like you being yourself. Like, even when you think about the things that you had opportunities to be a part of, things that you actually wanted to join or you knew that you could, right? So you did it because you know that you could, because you were thinking long term. You were thinking about the bigger picture. Okay, you're thinking about your portfolio, things like that. But again, your reasons for being a part of things are different from most people's reasons, because there is this heavy energy of people doing things and wanting to be a part of things just so they can be looked at a certain type of way, or they can be put on a certain pedestal by others and stuff like that. But you guys don't resonate with that. Okay, there could be something about you guys been moving in silence, and you guys even moving in silence sometimes with your achievements. You don't really care to um, tell everybody what you got going on. Like you will be the type of person that will hit the lottery and don't say shit, not say a word. Like, it makes me think about Young Scooter and his song. He was like, I finesse you out your cash and dress up like I'm homeless. Not saying that y'all finesse people, but the point is, it's like, even if you're somebody who has a lot of money, you're not going to make it overly obvious. This is not saying that you won't, like, still do yourself up and go out and whatever, enjoy yourself, enjoy your earnings. But, compared to the general public, you're not, doing it for the display. You're not peacocking your gains. You're not peacocking who you are. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're just in this energy of gratitude. If anything, you're just have it, and you're wanting to maintain whatever that is. You're still who you are, at the purest level. Like, you're still generous. And, if you have it to give and you feel like, the person, it's just in the right time to give, you're going to give. You know what I'm saying? So you guys could have even experienced people using your energy, like using your clout, using, like, being cool, knowing you. Oh, that's my cousin, that's my sister, that's my brother, that's my friend, that's my such and such neighbor. You get what I'm saying? Like, but people trying to use your energy in order to obtain things, or to obtain, like, access to things, right? So you guys could have experienced that as well. So another thing I was picking up on, right, with all this being said already, there's something about, again, energies who do feel the need to go overboard, to be over the top in order to, quote unquote, compete with you or be seen as better than you or like you somehow. There's something about, it's almost like this quiet, like, obvious truth that if you were to do what they do, like the over the top shit that they do, oh my God, they really wouldn't be seeing you. So this is like you not having to do a lot, like a little goes a long way. And it's like, damn, who that, And somebody who does do a lot, feeling intimidated by that, okay, or trying to shun you, trying to shame you because of the little that you're working with, right? But what's obvious is that if you were to, for example, put on makeup, add some type of additions or extensions, put that shit on. If you was to do this, or when you do this, it's like they really not seeing you, right? So this is also why you could even have people try to, like, tarnish your reputation, like in several different scenarios, or even like ill wish you, or try to attack or wish ill will, like, on your success, thinking that if your success is limited, or if your funds are unlimited, then this will restrict you from really being able to, like, pop your shit. You know what I'm saying? But again, the way that you are kind of disarms them from being able to do that, because again, you're not pressed by what most people are pressed by. Okay. Hide user. So something's wrong with the mic. Give me 1 second. Hide user. Okay. So it could be because when I first started the video, I started off with my Bluetooth AirPods, but I turned my Bluetooth off, and then sometimes you hear like a little clicking noise in the sound. I'm not sure why that happens. It could be where I'm located. I don't know. It could be the Wi-Fi. I don't know why that happens, but that's neither here or there. Because if that's what's going on, you definitely can still hear me clearly, because I always rewatch my videos. But anyway, so even stuff like that, like people, the energy of whether you know somebody or not. If somebody's being, like, mean to you, somebody's saying, like, cruel things or insulting you and stuff like that, like, normally people will kind of go in the corner, even if they put on the front, like, oh, I don't care, da 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 da, when they're displaying a behavior or a fake toughness to others, oftentimes, like, behind the scenes, they'll go and cower in the corner, reflecting and thinking about what people have said to them, or those insults, or somebody being mean, somebody being bullying them, or somebody insulting their appearance, or insulting anything that they're doing. You're not that type of person, but there's people who often use those tactics because these are the things that weaken them. These are the things that affect them. And when you think about it, it affects a lot of people. That's why it's something that's so common. That's why it's so commonly exercised, right? Even using the word exercised, right? There's something about you having a way of ridding yourself of other people's opinions and biases. Know, I don't know, like there's just something about you genuinely liking yourself or things that you do. Even the positive feedback, the things about the positive feedback that you receive throughout your journey, okay, whether in your childhood, adolescence, or even now, is that it always outweighs any negative thing that's spoken to you. And another thing that strengthens that self-esteem about yourself is how you show up, right? How you choose to show up, and that it doesn't turn you into this bitter, or it doesn't turn you into the people who choose to be that way. And then you're also armed with the understanding and the knowledge of why people even choose to be that way, right? And you know that it's not coming from a place of confidence. You know it's not coming from a place of them loving themselves. You know it's not coming from a place from liking themselves. It's literally the complete opposite. So the reason why they're always doing that with you is because they're just hoping that at any moment, and here's another thing too, they like they feel like they have to oversaturate your energy with these type of vibes. You get what I'm saying? Because the little shit, like they could be broken, or they could be weakened just by the little shit. So this is why you're somebody where you have to be overly saturated with abuse. You have to be overly saturated with insults. You have to be overly saturated with people wanting to get under your skin, like people wanting to tear you down. Because when you think about it, we even think of it like a building. Like if you think about yourself as a foundation and how you built yourself and how God has built you up over time. You're a big ass building. You're a solid ass building. Like you're a building that's built with bricks and stones and marbles and shit. Okay, not that weak shit, right? So yes, this is why people, or you find yourself so often dealing with the same similar shit, like people trying to tear you down with words, people talking about just speaking negative about you, okay, projecting negativity towards you, um pretending like they're a trustworthy source, or they're solid, just to do this little thing where they call themselves ripping the rug from up under your feet. And it's like the reason why it kind of comes off like a sneak attack in some cases is because this is how solid you are within yourself. This is how confident you are in your ability to overcome, your ability to conquer anything. It's like you genuinely apply and you live the identity of being more than a conqueror, literally. So that's mainly what I got, you guys. I also was picking up messages like mainly for divine feminines, but I heard divine feminines, it can be for anybody. But even with that, like you guys can have like exes, right? Or like even ex friends and stuff like that. But I was picking up with exes to reflect on, regardless of what you've had at any time, like there's something about just your consistency and your reliability and you being dependable and you being, sharing and generous with your energy. And also, there's something significant about how you keep yourself up. How you keep yourself up. And I'm not just talking about the external, right? Like just like your clothes and stuff like that. But there's something significant about your hygiene, okay, that's being reflected on, okay? And even when we talk about hygiene, we know hygiene even goes far beyond like the physical, like you being fresh and stuff like that. Hygiene applies to like your emotional hygiene, your psychological hygiene, your spiritual hygiene, all that shit. But you have energies who are reflecting and reminiscing on hygiene. Okay, so again, that can be in any area, okay, of your bodies, right? Your emotional body or any of that. So and you're not somebody who feels like you have to dirty somebody else's name, or you have to dirty somebody's reputation, just to win something. Like let's say you guys can have experiences with like one-sided battles, or people feeling triggered or threatened by you, or feeling like, or even gathering, teaming up with others to come against you. And oftentimes they use slander. Oftentimes they use defamation. Oftentimes they use lies. They over exaggerate things, or whatever the case may be. But you're not somebody who ever had to resort to that. And it's like the desire that people have of you, of like your, like this can have something to do with you being funny, like you literally just being a joy to be around. Like, you're funny, you're smart, you think outside of the box, you have great ideas. Okay. There's even something about people, like the energies who were close enough to you to be able to witness you be in tunnel vision as well, or like you really be focused on something or achieving something or conquering something. There's something about energies reflecting on that, like just how multifaceted and multi-dimensional you are. So it's like, even with anybody, claiming that, oh, I don't, talk to them anymore, there's something about people wanting to also be the ones who have cut you off. Like, they want to be seen as the ones who stop dealing with you, when in actuality it's the other way around. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I mean by that. Even if it seemed like they stopped fucking with you, or they started moving funny with you, because oftentimes, yes, they were the ones to start moving funny with you first. However, it was this whole little game for them. It was this whole ego game for them. But when it came to how you responded to it, right? So this is like people trying to use, like, people like you actually have some type of connection with, like a genuine connection with, or even a work relationship. There's something about you trying to reason, with the person, trying to rationalize the situation, come to a fair ground, try to mend, or on both ends, and people trying to use that characteristic about you as like, see, this person. But even with your choice of language, your choice of words, they couldn't necessarily like get away with trying to create a narrative that you were, pressed to be with them, be around them, kiss their ass or whatever. This was more so you genuinely thinking, or even trying to give people the benefit of the doubt that, damn, I thought we was really fucking with each other, but hey, I was really fucking with you, so I'm gonna show up how I show up with people that I genuinely fuck with, right? But once I figure out that, oh, okay, you're using this as an ego stroke. Oh, okay, you're using this to seem cool or to pull other people by trying to put me down, because you and those people that you're trying to, make them feel like they're really winning a prize, which is you, by putting me down because they see me as popping. Oh, okay. You get what I'm saying? Like, bad. But here's the thing. It never fully, like, the whole conclusion of it, it never ends the way that they're hoping for, the way that they're planning for, the way that they're trying to manipulate and orchestrate it for, to make them appear as superior to you. It never plays out that way. It's like, by the conclusion of it all, these are people who find themselves missing you. Okay, these are people who find themselves regretting how they showed up. These are people, for one, who find themselves experiencing karma. Let's not forget that. They find themselves experiencing karma. They find themselves not even getting like the same type of attention or clout or whatever that they once got, or that it's not on the level that it was when they were associated with you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they can even be like certain mutuals or people who are aware of you somehow, like whether that be social media, in passing, in person, um, childhood. It don't matter, but there can even be this energy of, with you guys like being completely separate now, separate from one another, just living your own lives. There can be this energy of like, people can tell that the person is like biting off something about you, right? They're trying to wear that now, or use it for themselves. Like, it can be something significant about that as well. hmm For example, you guys can also be the type of energy that you really be neutral. You really be minding your business. There's some situations where you went along with like cousins, family, friends, just to support them, just so they wouldn't have to be by themselves. Like, just to, like, just to keep shit, just to be cool, and not even like be cool, but to like for example, I remember when I was in college, I had this roommate, and she was seeing this guy, and he used to work at this restaurant. There used to be like a lot of restaurants and stores off the lake in Beaufort, South Carolina. So I didn't feel comfortable with her going there by herself. You get what I'm saying? Like, just on some protective shit, because it was at night that she was going to like see him, but he worked there. But I just didn't really feel comfortable with her going by herself. So I dressed how I dressed. You get what I'm saying? And I went with her. Mind you, this is supposed to be her interest. he's looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he checking me out and being all awkward, towards her because she's with me. And that wasn't something intentional, but you guys can resonate with having experiences like that. It's like, yo, like, I didn't even really care to come. I came here to support you. I'm kicking it with your friends too because you wanted me to be here. But then you get upset when um your friends or the person that you like ends up liking me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. And the thing is, there's something about you literally minding your business. You minding your business, like, you just being yourself. You having like cordial, respectable conversation. Of course, acknowledging the people, acknowledging who's there. But you guys have like these boundaries that you set between you and anybody you're connected with, especially if they have a partner or interest or whatever. You guys set firm boundaries between you and that love interest. You get what I'm saying? Because you guys have experienced, okay, just by being yourself and just understanding how instinctively shallow people tend to be. You get what I'm saying? So this can even be like, let's say if you kicking it at somebody's house and their little boo thing is supposed to be put up or whatever, right? You the type of person, okay, well, I'm just gonna excuse myself. I'm gonna go in the other room or I'll be back, just text me, let me know when y'all done what y'all doing. Like, you guys could be that type of energy, but the interest will still be interested in you. And even though you taking actions to be respectable and be considerate of your friend at the time by removing yourself, not even announcing why, but just understanding from past experiences that, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna remove myself. You guys will still find yourselves in situations where that very friend would then go out of their way to betray you, okay, to snake you and stuff like that because of some type of like expression from that love interest that makes them feel like that person is interested in you or that person is looking at you. It's like, damn. And again, understanding this about yourself and how you move and how you're always considerate of respecting the next person because you're conscious about the seeds that you sow when it comes to you reaping the respect that you deserve. Damn. Okay. Literally. So even when people try to play these little switcheroo mind games and shit like that, or try to guilt trip you, gaslight you, or even attach lies to you about your character, it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. And it certainly doesn't formulate into some type of low self-esteem, some type of insecurity, or even becoming a person who, you know what, I'm tired of this always happening, so I'm just gonna become this person. Like, since they say I'm like this, and since they swear up and down I'm like this, and I'm just gonna be that. No, you're not the type of person. You stay true to who you are, nonetheless. Right? Understanding the level of their maturity, or the lack thereof, rather. Okay? And it's literally just that energy of separating the wheat from the tares. It's like, yes, some people do have to fall away. Yes, some connections do have to disconnect and disable in order for you to attract what's most aligned to you. Okay? And there's also this energy of, you can even have people try to call you antisocial sometimes because of how sure of yourself you are. You don't have to be around people all the time, and you even enjoy your own company, right? You could be somebody who's always enjoyed your own company, but you can have people who crave to be in your company, to be a part of your company, and that's cool, right? And it's not saying that it was always one-sided. It could have been mutual sometimes, but again, depending on where you guys go, depending on like other people who gets involved or who's involved or whatever, and how those people respond to you, you'll have like this energy of hate begin to harbor and grow, and these grudges begin to grow in the people that you love, like, and you just, it's almost like these sparks, before like something really sets fire, like here and there, as time goes on, you guys get these little sparks of them feeling some type of way about you, or even like trying you, or even trying to get their get back in little ways, but then play oblivious when you move accordingly, or when you call it out, or even try to gaslight you about calling it out, right? But yeah, you guys, I don't want to make this video too long because I want to make sure you guys can actually hear me. But yeah, like, yeah. What's a good example? So a good example, like with social media, is something that people that, you know, it's the energy that happens often with my YouTube, for example. Me even having the confidence and the boldness to just be myself, to share my messages, to create my content, to create my videos. And then sometimes you'll have people who intentionally don't interact with the video. They would intentionally not like the video. They would intentionally, you know, do shit because they're hoping that somehow that's going to manifest into me shutting up or not posting anymore or not creating anymore. And it's like, what the fuck do you have to do with me? This is the time that you guys have. That it factor. Okay. I was even seeing or hearing this energy about, there is this ad on YouTube. It's an AI ad, but they're basically, it's like this basic ass little test, like this, and it's like, it's always like a pattern, and it's showing this person trying to do the pattern, like, and having the lines, like, you know, correctly. Basically, I know I'm not really articulating that correctly, but every time they show that ad, it's damn near obvious that they're intentionally fucking up. You get what I'm saying? But what the guy says, and the reason why I'm mentioning this, is that he says that people who are able to successfully pass this test are either geniuses or psychopaths, right? And you know, psychopaths are people who have psychopathic tendencies or sociopathic tendencies. They're not always like unintelligent. A lot of times, or oftentimes, they're very intelligent, right? So you guys can have the intelligence level of a genius, right? But you can often trigger people who are psychopathic, okay? Because again, it's almost like that saying of what's the phrase about new levels, new devils type shit. So it's like every time you raise like a new level of consciousness, right? It's like you'll have strong enemies, or you would attract quote unquote strong enemies. It's considered strong in their world. It's considered strong in their realm, but to you, it's the weakest share. It's weak, right? It's definitive as weakness, because for you to even feel like, you know, I'm a threat by genuinely being a well-mannered person, genuinely being a considerate person, a kind-spirited person, a compassionate person, a person who knows how to mind their fucking business, a person who doesn't feel like they have to tear other people down to get ahead, a person who's willing to play the long game. You get what I'm saying? Like, in the name of integrity, in the name of maintaining their dignity, right? The fact that you even feel like you have to come against somebody like that, it already reveals your weakness. It already reveals that you're actually more threatened of me, right? So there's something significant about you guys like having like a very unwavering faith, like about just key laws, key spiritual laws, okay, that you just genuinely believe in. Like, for example, the last shall be first and the first shall be last, right? So you're content. You're content. Like, when you see other people who are more well off, you see other people who have more wealth, who have more finances, okay, who's able to take shortcuts and do things. It's like you don't feel like, damn, like I need to get on what they need, what they doing. I need to, you feel me? I need to just say fuck this shit and commit fraud, or I need to say fuck this shit and be a scammer too. I need to say fuck this shit and sell my ass to you. you guys you guys are not easily persuasive, okay? You're not easily persuaded, okay, to do things that go against um your self-love, your self-respect, your dignity, and your integrity. And if anything, how the divine sees you, right? You guys think long. You think you have this energy of like foresight, where damn, you're conscious about certain decisions that you make that's going to affect the legacy that you're building, right? You're conscious of the decisions that you make. Like, this can even be this energy of like even thinking further ahead than that. Like, who you want to be when you leave this realm, when you leave this body, who you want to be, where you want to be. Okay, a lot of times we talk about ascended masters and we talk about divine ancestors. Like, you guys can even think that far ahead. Like, I want to be a divine ancestor, you know? Like for example, a surface for forethought would be, I want to go to heaven. You know, I want to go to a better place when I leave this body. That's a surface forethought. But you guys are the type to like take it further than that. Like what I just said like, I want to be a divine ancestor. I want to be an ascended master. You get what I'm saying? And so you live your life as such. Also, there's something about the reason why, even when you guys found yourselves in situations and dynamics and lifestyles where it really could have contributed to the end of you, to the ending of you, where it really could have produced an identity in you that would have literally been in some type of sabotage frequency. The reason why you guys were even able to find the ways of escape to get out of that is because a lot of that had everything to do with the people that you were working with, the people that you loved, the people that you cared about, and they took advantage of your love. They took advantage of you caring so much, you being so passionate about the connection, about the friendship, about the family. You know, you having a big heart. You know, you wanting to fix things and wanting to repair. Like, a lot of times, people took advantage of that about you. They took advantage of that, okay, and they put you or baited you into situations and dynamics that really could have like scarred you for life, okay. And there's something about you guys witnessing these people's karma. These people, like, some of these people have had like treacherous, like some crazy ass karma as a result, right, of putting you in certain danger or putting you in danger. Yep. Because there's something about an innocence about you being taken advantage of, okay, being used against you, okay. Like, there's something about earlier moments in your life where you were more naive, okay, for the simple fact that you thought because you cared so much, you loved them so much, you protected them so much in front of them and behind their back, you assumed that it was mutual. For the simple fact that you went so hard, you assumed it was mutual. But these very aspects about you, these people were intimidated by. So it's like, in a way, they kind of wanted that to be traumatized out of you. They wanted your identity to be traumatized out of you. Because there's something about these strong traits that you have, like being protective over your loved ones, you know, like willing to stand against whatever giant, right? Okay. Your ability to take your life back, even if you have experienced some type of trauma. Some of you guys could have experienced like some type of sexual assault or whatever, but you have like this fortitude, you have this strong mental energy, or like this strong will that I'm not gonna let that, you know, I'm not gonna let that define me. I'm not gonna end up in no crazy house because of the trauma. I'm not gonna be strung out on drugs. I'm not gonna become a prostitute. I'm not gonna da 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 da. You know, because on the extreme ends, when you think about the spectrum of assault and abuse and trauma, yes, that's on the spectrum of where people often find themselves. People find themselves having to go to some type of psychological facility. People find themselves becoming criminals. People find themselves becoming predators. People find themselves becoming drug addicts. People find themselves becoming prostitutes as a result of that trauma, right? But you guys literally strive toward the opposite end. Nah, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna build a facility to help the youth or help adults recover and overcome and da 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 from these things. I'm gonna study psychology. I'm gonna study criminology. I'm gonna become a detective. I'm gonna become da 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 da. Right? Utilizing what I've experienced firsthand. You know what I'm saying? To create something better, to create harmony, to create or generate preventative measures so that the next person doesn't have to go through that. So the next person can also be saved. Their mental health can also be saved. Their soul can also be saved from where they could go, from what they could become. This is you guys' mental frequency. This is your spiritual frequency. Okay? And something that God told me when I was 18 was that the reason why I experienced, you know, some things firsthand, and what I mean by some things, I mean like traumatic things. The reason why I experienced these things firsthand so I can have a better understanding to help somebody who's actively going through it, right? Because there's a difference between somebody who's directly experienced something for themselves compared to somebody who's just on the outside looking in. Maybe they read about it in a book, they studied it in school, right? But it's a difference when it comes to the effect and the impact that they will have because they have more experience because they lived it, right? So this is literally y'all's energy, and it's like you have people who feel some type of way because you're like that, because you're literally a true alchemist. Like, you're being seen as a literal magician, literally. right? And you know, there's also this energy of people having to this okay, y'all know the energy of people wanting to mimic you, people wanting to claim your essence and your identity for themselves, wanting to kind of shun it, tear it down, pollute the way that it's seen, that it's perceived, but then try to slowly become it. Here's the thing about that. All that shit I just mentioned about y'all experiencing traumatic things firsthand, these people don't realize that that's what they were asking for. That's what they were asking for all along. They were asking for the same tumultuous, traumatic shit that you went through to become who you are and as you are. Because that's the whole point that they're missing. The reason why you're so well fashioned is because of the shit that you went through and the experience that you've had, especially at the hands of others. So if these people are already weakened by the thoughts of others, the biases and opinions of others, if they're already easily influenced by that, imagine how it's going to go for them when they experience the type of shit or the type of dark manipulations that others have used towards you so often because they felt threatened by you, because they felt intimidated by you. These are people who are going to have to walk. They're going to have to walk in those shoes. But here's the thing about shoes. Everybody's feet is at different sizes, right? Everybody's feet is at different sizes. So if somebody so desperately want to mimic you, copy you, this copycat energy or whatever, baby, okay, you want to walk in the collective shoes. You wear a size whatever. I don't care if your foot is smaller or bigger. If you still try to wear the collective shoes, if your shoes are bigger than your feet, if your shoes are smaller than your feet, it's going to be an uncomfortable walk. And that's what people find. These are the realities that people find themselves in for coming for you, coming after you, or being so invested in tearing down what God has built up, what God has put together. A lot of times when we think about that scripture, what God puts together, let no man put us under. A lot of times we talk about, or we connect that to connections, two or more people. But that also refers to you alone. What has been built up in regards to you. And you have people who try to tear it down, put it asunder. But God said, let no man, right? Put it asunder. So what does that look like for people who try to do that for you? Not only do they find themselves walking in your shoes since they want to be you so bad, they want to be better than you, or they want to steal shit that was orchestrated for you. It got your name on it. But they wanna play dress up and shit. Okay, they're you to get it. Okay, so now you have to experience the type of shit that the collective find themselves experiencing because they're light beings. So not only do they attract light beings, they attract demons. Okay, who are jealous of their opportunity with the divine, jealous of their opportunities when it comes to the covenant that they still have access to, jealous of their akasha. Like, when we really think about what people forfeit, right? When they choose to just commit themselves or submit to being on demon time, you forfeit a lot. You forfeit the true wealth. You forfeit the true prosperity. You forfeit the true love. You forfeit the things that are genuine and things that are true, right? And you only find yourselves left with costume jewelry. You find yourself left with mimics. You find yourself left with the molds of the actual real deal, the actual thing. So it's not going to generate the same results. It's going to generate illusions of those results, right? But at any moment, here's the thing about that, and this is why you've experienced people who try to use this tactic of sneak attacking you, or like they want to shock attack you, or even try to use you for shock value and shit like that, for clout and attention. Okay, all that shit that they accumulate off your energy, off your essence, off your name. Okay, at any moment, God give it, God take it away. At any moment, that shit can just be ripped away from them as well. But the way that you land on your feet, the way that you get up and you keep moving, and not even just that, but the timing of your recovery is not the same as these people. I don't care how long, I don't care how long it may appear, okay, that something is taken for you, or you even being seen in this slow and steady type of energy. It's an intentional slow and steady energy, first of all. Second of all, Again, when they find themselves, when it's their turn, they don't recover as quickly. Some of them lose their lives. Some of them find themselves with, diseases that last a long ass time. But the point is, it takes them far longer and far greater energy to recover and replenish themselves. And even with me saying far greater energy, if they're not tapped in with the divine, if they don't have a genuine connection with source, if they're unsuccessful lugging their soul tie or creating a soul tie with the source that your soul is locked in with, if they find themselves finding that difficult to achieve, absolutely not. They're not going to be able to move how you're moving. They're not going to be able to transmute at the rate or the quality that you're able to transmute things. That's just what it is. Yo, my hand itching. But yeah, that's the message, you guys. Pity, pity. And you know what? It will behoove a lot of people to properly perceive or process why they even feel triggered by your energy in the first place. Like, what is it about you? Okay? Like, really identify the things outside of your body. Like, just separate those traits and those qualities about you. Just separate it from your look. Separate it from your body. Like, what is it about this person that triggers me? Okay? And let me pray for those things for myself. Let me work at or work toward those things for myself. Not this energy of trying to take it from the person, or not the energy of trying to tear that person down or project, the opposite onto the person who's embodying it, so I can feel like, you know what I'm saying? It will behoove them to separate the wheat from the tare when it comes to their thoughts, okay, and how their mind processes their perception. Because you're somebody who's already like that, and this is why they can't tear you down. This is why they can't defeat you. This is why even if they take actions to tear down things about you or outside of you, you know how to rebuild from that and rebuild something better. And you're going to keep doing that. It's literally giving like a kid on the beach building a sandcastle. There's another kid trying to build a sandcastle, but it just looks like a fucking igloo. What the fuck is that? So they hating on what you built because it actually looks like a castle. So they come and kick your shit down, throw some water on it, okay? And you have some people who even try to act like shit is a mistake. They'll come nearby, or they're already processed in their mind. Okay, let me run over here. But when it comes like when I run over there, I'm gonna turn my head this way so it looks like I did it by accident. But then they intentionally kick your shit or run into your shit or run over your shit, okay? But they want you to think it was an accident, right? The fact that you have the skill set to rebuild another castle pisses people off. Sometimes people may feel accomplished because of the time invested, or maybe you already took a photo of the castle, or the fact that you seen the castle with your mind, and the fact that you know you can build it, the fact that you build it in general, you're content with it. So even if you step away, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the beach. I'm just gonna play in the water. I'm sitting in the water. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm not gonna rebuild a castle right now at this moment. It doesn't mean that you're void of the skill set that built the castle in the first place.